Okay, this might be a complete rant, and I will wait to view anime or manga, but I just can't stand Crybaby main characters. I just can't, it's too hard for me. The way the story forces them to be stupidly weak, both physically and mentally, obviously depending on the series, sometimes both, just rubs me the wrong way. The other day I just watched Kaiju number 8, and I remember Kafka, the main character from the manga, as a weak main. Yeah, but not a crybaby. And watching episode 3 of the anime, I had this small PTSD case, and I remember all the weak ass main characters. And you can find plenty of them in anime, like Izuku from My Hero Academia. This guy, I just couldn't. I watched the first episode, I nearly broke my screen in half, and I quickly got out of there. I just couldn't keep on watching. It was too fucking hard. And every clip I'm seeing of the series now is just him crying. Simply him crying, and the blonde guy being very thin, but whatever. Eren from Attack on Titan. I have a whole paragraph on him later. I'm not gonna do this now. Just Eren from Attack on Titan. Usopp from One Piece. The long-nosed dude, Tanjiro from Kimetsu no Yaiba, the main character, the guy with the scar. All this remembering made me think, why do I hate them so much? Because I can't watch a series with them in it, unless it's like a godly series and I can suffer through. Even though I cringe still like crazy and I scream at the screen as if they can actually hear me. Obviously they can't, they're pixels. And the next sentence might actually send me to the asylum, but I'm getting physically angry at fictional characters doing stupid shit on the screen for more story time. Like looking to the left for 2 seconds and getting the princess kidnapped in Sandland. Or not using powers to stop an enemy, making them come back later in the story, again to cause a whole nother arc. Or shit talking to a strong enemy they can't beat right now, then dragging another strong character into the mix, which is usually why the first character wants to be stronger, because character X has died because of their stupidity. Or Eren, just Eren crying. Not a specific point, all of them, he cries a lot. Mostly he cries during important story moments, and he's not thinking clearly, just waiting for Mikasa to kick him in the face, and then we're getting 5 minutes of internal dialogue, and then we can finally continue the script. He just always cries. Just turn on just pick a random episode, click randomly, and I'm sure that within 5 minutes, either to the future or to the past, he's crying somewhere, just sitting on the ground and crying. This guy cried so fucking much. I nearly skipped the whole series. The story was actually interesting, and I was waiting to see all the stuff, so I actually pulled through. But that you have to see my wall. You have to see my wall. The wall just suffered so much from this series. Or, yep, we still have another or. Don't worry, I have 2 more ors after this. Or Usopp trying to run away from every fucking enemy, getting help from somebody else in the crew that just let him do the last few hits to make him seem okay in the audience's eyes every single time. I'm saying this, and if you watched One Piece, I'm sure you have it in your head that the fight in Dressrosa against the little girl that he eats grapes or whatever, just him crying on the ground and saying, oh, I'm so fucking weak, I can't do this. And then again, internal dialogue, somebody says something, Robin comes to help, or whoever, Frankie, what the fuck. And then he just picks himself up. He remembers like Luffy saying something, or like his dad, or I don't know what the fuck. And then he just goes and actually does it this time. So fucking stupid. It's not adding anything. Or Tanjiro. Okay, Tanjiro. This one, I think it hit me the hardest. During Kyojuro's death, the scene that, near the train, the rain, I'm sure you know what scene I'm talking about. This is where it hit me the hardest, how insufferable he is. Kyojuro was a fucking cool dude, and I was so fucking sad he died. It reminded me of Ace, like the Luffy's brother in One Piece, his death, and how stun-locked Luffy was to the point where he fainted. It is a shame, because most of the scenes, Tanjiro is a pretty cool-headed guy, and he's thinking straight, but the moment we need him to be stupid, to prevent the story from being shorter, aka stopping the enemy for 3 minutes until what the fuck is the name just arrives to help, the switch is flipped and suddenly he's dumb. He can't think, he can't do anything like the rest of the series. He's just standing there in the rain, crying, just doing nothing. Okay, I know he threw the sword on the guy. It's not much in my part. Just threw it and then turning back and doing the whole thing and the crying for 10 years on his back until it's morning. Just too much for me. Just way too much for me. After all those and many more examples I have in my head, which I just didn't share with you, because I'm sure if you came to this video, I'm sure you know of those other main characters, or maybe not main characters, secondary characters. Some of those people on the list are not main characters like Usopp. Anyway, I simply got to the conclusion that there are many more options to get out of the situations I described, rather than crying on the ground and preparing for a redemption arc that's not gonna actually change anything. Just give them 15 minutes of, oh, okay, they're kind of cool now. Just to be back to being a funny crybaby right after, getting scared in front of every enemy, trying to escape just to be pulled back into the fight by the cool characters. Now, feeling emotions is not a bad thing, but controlling your emotions is the key, especially if you want to be the hero, the demon slayer, or the pirate's king ally. Those scenes do not help the story overall. At least for me, they pull me out. For an episode, sometimes I never even return to the series again, depending on the severity. And obviously I made this video, so you can guess how much I hate this. Obviously not all characters have to be emotionless. There's a new anime that I just watched. I started watching a few weeks ago. It's coming out like every week now, one episode a week, like usual. And it's called Windbreaker. The main character is a very tsundere kind of character, very tsundere guy. He does not like being complimented and stuff. He shows a lot of emotions. And watching the first episode, I have to say, is the first time I cried in I don't know how many years. I literally cried, and I'm never cry. You can actually feel connected to the character because he's reacting the way a human would react. Keep in mind it's only episode 3, yes? You can see the hardships he's been through. It's not all about his family getting eaten by magic carrots and he's now a rabbit. It's simple bullying because of how he looks. He doesn't cry, he doesn't try to kill himself, he doesn't interfere with others. He simply goes around trying to solve the situation in his own way. Be it wrong or right doesn't matter to this discussion. Going back to the crybaby main character, think about one that you know. There are plenty. Try to imagine an important thing with them crying. Now take a step back. Look at the whole series timeline. Did that thing add value to the character? Is this the first time he cried because of hardship? Or is it the 10th? If it's the 10th time, what did the previous 9 do to the character? I would say not much. You see where I'm going with this? I'm not writing a whole world is hard. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying that the character is not a must. Animes are not character checklists. They don't have to be inclusive. If it doesn't add to the overall experience, then why is it here? Besides making me stay in front of the screen longer. In an overall rant, most animes turn it into checklists. All of them need the same stuff every time. And if you notice, the successful ones are the ones that change the formula a bit or are the first in the genre. And that was my opinion. I had to get it out. I would love to hear yours about the subject. This is why I'm uploading this. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, thank you. If you didn't, oh well, you wasted your time. Keep yourself safe and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.